when tomorrow hides behind the haze. Your promise lights my path with grace.
He Lights the Haze, Always Be, Devotional Series. Episode 3. When tomorrow hides behind the haze, your promise lights my path with grace. And when all my days have met their end, your love will call me home again. We are, most of us, relentless planners. Not always in the formal sense, not necessarily the spreadsheet and the 5-year strategy, though some of us are exactly that. But in the quieter, more instinctive sense, the way we are always running a version of the future in our minds, working out how things will go, building the mental architecture of what comes next, mapping the steps from here to there, anticipating the variables, trying to stay ahead of what we cannot yet see. It is not a character flaw. It is simply what human beings do when they are trying to navigate a world that does not always cooperate. We plan because it feels like control, and control feels like safety. If we can see what is coming, we can prepare for it. If we can prepare for it, maybe we can manage it. And if we can manage it, maybe we will be okay. The problem, of course, is that the future does not stay visible on demand. It hides. The road ahead goes hazy. The plan hits something it did not account for, and the whole architecture needs rebuilding. Life has a consistent and humbling habit of reminding us that no matter how carefully we map it, we are not ultimately the ones holding the map. And in those moments, when the visibility drops and the path ahead blurs and the plan we were counting on has dissolved into fog, we discover very quickly what we are actually standing on. When tomorrow hides behind the haze, your promise lights my path with grace. There is only one thing in this lyric that cuts through the haze. Not a better plan, not a clearer strategy, not more information, more preparation, more effort applied to the problem of uncertainty. His promise, His grace. That is a very specific and deliberate claim, and it is worth sitting with rather than moving past. Grace is not primarily a comfort. It is a provision. It is the active, present supply of God's own sufficiency being made available to us in the moment we need it. Paul discovered this through his own experience of things not going according to plan, of a thorn in the flesh, a limitation he could not remove, a haze he could not clear. And what he received was not the removal of the obstacle, but something better. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Sufficient. Not just present, not just available. Sufficient. Enough. All that is needed, exactly when it is needed, fully adequate for whatever the haze is hiding. The grace is not proportioned to our confidence level or our clarity about what comes next. It is proportioned to the need, and it always meets it. And notice the word promise. Not a feeling, not an impression, not a hopeful inclination. A promise. The God who cannot lie, Titus 1:2, who does not change, Malachi 3:6, who has never once failed to keep his word, that God made you a promise. And his promise is that he will light the way. Not necessarily by removing the haze, but by being the light inside it. That changes the entire relationship with uncertainty. The haze does not need to clear for the path to be lit. He is already there, already providing, already sufficient, inside the very fog we were afraid of. There is a surrender required here that does not come naturally, because most of us, when the future hides, double down on the effort to see it. We plan harder. We research more. We seek out every possible piece of information that might give us an edge on the uncertainty. And none of those things are wrong in themselves. Wisdom and preparation are good gifts. But there is a version of that striving that is not really about wisdom. It is about the refusal to depend on anything we cannot control. What this verse invites us into is different. not passivity, not sitting in the haze and doing nothing, but a genuine, active trust that the provision for the path ahead is already secured, that the grace that lights the way is already there, already sufficient, already moving ahead of us into the very uncertainty we are afraid of. We do not need to clear the haze before we step into it. We step into it held by a promise that has never been broken. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. This is the posture the verse is describing. Not the absence of uncertainty. The haze is still there, but the presence of someone who is greater than the uncertainty, whose promise is more reliable than our planning, whose grace is more powerful than our preparation. The path is lit not because we figured it out, but because he promised it would be. And then the verse takes the longest possible view. And when all my days have met their end, your love will call me home again. If the first two lines are about the immediate uncertainty of tomorrow, these two lines are about the ultimate horizon, the final destination, the end of all the days. And the answer to what happens there is not dissolution, not silence, not the closing of a story that never fully resolved. It is a call home. That word, home, carries more weight than almost any other word in the language. Home is not just a place. It is where you belong, where you are known, where the door is open for you, where there is no version of you that needs to be performed or managed or made presentable before you can enter. Home is where the love is simply there, unconditional and waiting before you even knock. And what this lyric says is that at the end of all your days, all of them, the lost ones and the bright ones and the worn and ordinary ones in between, what meets you is not silence. It is his love, calling you in. The same love that wrote the words when you were lost, the same love that renewed the dawn when you were worn, the same love that lit the haze when the future hid. Still there, calling you home. This is where the arc of the verse lands, and it is the right place to land. Not in the haze, not in the weakness, but in the welcome. The whole sequence, past, present, future, eternity, is framed by mercy and grace at every point. Not a single gap, not a single stretch where he is absent or the provision runs thin. All the way through, all the way home. That is the confidence this song is built on. Not a confidence we generated ourselves, not optimism dressed up in theological language. A confidence grounded in the character of a God who promised, who cannot lie, who has never yet failed to provide for every step of the journey he ordained. The haze will come, the future will hide, the plans will fall short, and his grace will be there, always already there, lighting the very path we were afraid to walk. Step into it. He's already there ahead of you.